in the 18th century, September 17th was the day that our Constitution was adopted. When the session was over and Benjamin Franklin came outside, people said, Mr. Franklin, do we have a monarchy or do we have a republic? He said, we have a republic if we can keep it, if we can keep it. September 17th of this year, that very day, was the day that this explosion occurred and we found out about the telephone conversation, which is completely in defiance of the Constitution of the United States. That same day. Our Constitution is the system of checks and balances. 3 co-equal branches of government as a check and balance on each other. Separation of power. Separation of power. That is a republic. A president who says the second Article 2 of the Constitution says I can do whatever I want, that is a monarchy. That's not what the Constitution says. So again, what we're talking about here is not about personality. It's not about policy differences. That's to be taken up in the election, which is 13 months and about 2 weeks from now. That's for them. If you don't like the policies, if the president is too cowardly to protect children with gun violence prevention, or too in denial about climate change, or too cruel to help dream, take that up in the campaign. This is only about the facts. Anybody in here in my generation will know just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Just the facts. Just the facts and the Constitution of the United States. That is so very important for all of us to be prayerful, to be solemn, to conduct all of this in a way that is worthy of the Constitution. And so, you talked earlier about when this and that occurred and comparing, and we talked about time, and I talked about how long I've known Governor Riley. Our founders, they had temporal markers. Even Lincoln, he said 87 years ago. Thomas Paine, when in the course of human events, our Declaration of Independence, and well, that is when in the course of human events, the Declaration, Thomas Paine, these are the times that try men's souls. They kept talking about time. Thomas Paine also said this in the dark days of the Revolution. The times have found us. Times have found us. Well, we believe that the times have found us. Each and every one of you in this room have given up time on a weekend to come together to make the future better for the American people, and the time you volunteer or encourage others to do so, or promote candidates or causes for our country. Times have found you too. But right now, the times have found us for the Republic, if we can keep it, because that is what is at stake. We don't place ourselves in a category of greatness of our founders, but we do understand the urgency of the time that we are in. So this is about the Constitution of the United States, a system of checks and balances. That is what our democracy is about. And let me just quote you someone from Greenville. This is just, I didn't know, I thought he was just from, not just from, I thought he was from South Carolina. So I thought, this is perfect, it's from South Carolina. But the governor told me, no, it's from Greenville, South Carolina. Congressman James Mann. Congressman James Mann. During the Watergate hearings, South Carolina Congressman from Greenville, James Mann, said these words that ring through the ages. We have built our country on the Constitution. That system has been defended on the battlefields and statesmen had ended their careers on behalf of the system and either passed into oblivion or immortality. He then went on to say, now, too, we must defend our Constitution and our democracy. And our democracy. And that is the challenge that we have. So this is something that we treat it with great care. There may be some in this room who thought we should have been sooner. I just said when we have more facts, we will be ready. And we were ready. And we were ready. And we're ready. So just to say this, our founders, I've quoted them a number of times, but they gave us guidance on how we should engage in our democratic debate. They had their differences. We know that. They had their differences writing the Constitution. They had their differences in the first years of our country. That's the democratic way, people with different points of view having their debate. But they said at that time, e pluribus unum, from many one. They couldn't imagine how many we would be or how different we would be from each other. But they knew we had to strive to be one, to be one. So as we go forward with all of this, as we try to make the future better for the American people through legislation, seeking common ground, which is our responsibility to do, standing our ground, that would be Thomas Jefferson saying, standing our ground like a rock when we can't. But that's all part of the debate of a democracy. But as we go through this difficult time, we have to handle it in a way that I said earlier, worthy of the Constitution, heeding their guidance of e pluribus unum, that we are one, indivisible, as we pledged earlier, liberty and justice for all. So we're in a difficult time. I'm not even going to go into how difficult. But in any event, everything, in my view, is an opportunity. And this is an opportunity for respectfully having a civics lesson for our country about what our Constitution is about and why it was important, how brilliant they were to put it forth and to make it amendable so it could ever be expanding opportunity and freedom over time. So that's the case we have to make. Some people say, why are you doing this? He's not worth it to divide the country this way. I said, well, he may not be. But our Constitution is worth it. Our democracy is worth it. So as we work and our republic, if we can keep it, is worth it. As we go forward now in the next 13 months, here we are in the Democratic Party. I just was with my party, my county party, San Francisco County Party, the other day, and recently with the state party, and I said, this is my political home because it's the grassroots. This is what it's about. It's the strength. You are the strength of the party. Without you, nothing can happen in a very good way. So thank you for that. So now we have that. Putting that where it belongs, just the facts, ma'am, the Constitution. Now we have an election year coming up. How many times have people said to you, this is the most important election of our time? Well, this is. Oh, before I leave the other subject, I just have to tell you this one thing a cartoonist told me today. There's this meme going around of me, and I'm saying, Donald, you used to own a casino. You know the house always wins.